Welcome to Code to Enhance Learning Beginners Web Development video series. In this video series, we are learning web development using HTML, CSS and JavaScript so that by the end of the series, you can build your own amazing website to solve your problems. My name is Aniket Bagade and I will be your host for today. Today we will start with the next lesson from theme 2, that is clicking the buttons part 4. In the last videos, we learn how to show different content when we click different buttons. Today we will make that even better, using a JavaScript function to do it smartly. Let's begin. So, what are we going to do today? We want to show and hide different sections on our page, like about, math and science. But now, we will do this using just one function, instead of repeating code again and again. This will make our code cleaner and smarter. We will also add something fun, a custom cursor for our buttons. Today, we will understand how a button can trigger a JavaScript function. Take a look at this code. So, we have written the button like this. This means when we click this button, it will call a function named show. Then in the script tag, we define that function like this. Right now, it's empty, but we will add code inside it later. This is how we connect a button to a function in JavaScript. Now, let's open VS Code and do this together. Create a file named buttons.html. Then, copy that code and paste it here. Then save the file and open it in browser. Now, click the button. Nothing will happen yet because the function is empty. But this is how you prepare for adding actions later. Remember the cursor styles from last lessons? Now let's try something more interesting. You can change the cursor to your own image icon. Here's how. Cursor is a CSS property that changes the mouse pointer type. Here we are setting the cursor to an image using URL. Here auto means if the image fails, the browser will use the default cursor and the image should be 32 by 32 pixels to look proper. Let's try this too in our project. Now let's open VS Code. Download or create an image like girl.png. Keep the image in the same folder as your HTML file. In your style section, write button, open curly braces, cursor, :URL, in bracket, girl.png, comma, auto, semicolon, and then close that curly braces. Now save and open in browser. Over the button, you will see your custom cursor. Cool? Right. Now it's a practice time. So pause the video and try this. Write a program to make custom cursors when button is clicked. Try using different image files and see how it looks. Take your time and then let's move ahead. I hope you are done with it. Now let's move on to our next part. Creating a function to show content. Now we will write one smart function to handle all the button clicks about, math and science. Now look at the code. Here in the div tag where class is equal to tab, we have 3 buttons. Each one uses onClick is equal to show to call the same function with a different page ID. Then the function show page name. It does 2 things. First of all, hides all 3 sections first so nothing extra is shown. Then shows the section whose ID is passed in page name. It's like saying hide everything first, then show only what I want. So let's move on to the VS Code. So in our previous video, we created an index file. So now let's add function in it to show relevant content in our web page when the button is being clicked. So let's head it to our script tag and initiate document.getElementById function, and first we go for sub-science section. Following that we go for the style attribute and set the display property to none. Then we do the same for the math section as well as, but for our next section, that is the about section, we keep the display property to blob, since we want to about section to be displayed first with our web page loads. So setting the document.getElement by id of about section, and now we set the display to blob. Now let's declare our function, and we are going to need our function show, and inside the parenthesis we are going to pass the parameter page name. Then we are going to pass the curly braces, and inside the curly braces we are again going to initiate document.getElement by id function for submath section and set the display to none. Now we are going to do the same for rest of our sections, that is a subscience section and also the about section, and set display to none. Now we are going to set getElement by id page name, that is the name of the page that is called to blob. What this will do, whenever the function is called, the page name mentioned inside the argument will only be displayed in our website. So in the previous video, we saw we separately added the code in each of the button tabs to show the content when they are being clicked, which kinds of become repetitive for us. So now I am going to delete them one by one. So first choose the about button. Then the math button, and then the science button. So this time we had just called in our function show inside each of the onClick event handler in each of the button, and mention in which tab it should be shown upon pressing the button using the ID of the tab. So first we go with the about button with the ID about, after that the math button with the ID submath, and then the science button with an ID subscience. So now let's head it into our browser and see how it's work. As you can see, on opening our browser, we are navigated to our about section, that is only a about section is visible. Next, when it click on math button, then the math section is visible. Then when we click the science button, the science section is visible. So now I have an exciting practice task for you guys. So what I want you to do is, now pause the video right here and open your file and write the code for button using functions to change the content of the page. Go ahead. So I hope you are done with it now. Let's move on to our quiz section. We are at the end of this lesson. By now, you must be in a position to solve these questions. Go for it now. So the question number 1 is, which code you would use to change the cursor to a PNG file named girl when a button is clicked? The girl.png file is located in the same folder as the HTML file. So you have 4 options of code for these questions, and now you have 5 seconds to find out the correct answer, and your time starts now. I hope you find out the correct answer. The correct answer is option A. So let's move on to the next question. So the question number 2 is, a web page has 2 buttons with text about and math. A function show is to be defined such that the web page shows the content relevant to the text of the button when it clicks. So here is the code for this question, and which of the following code for the function show is correct? So you have 4 options of code for these questions, and now you have 5 seconds to find out the correct answer, and your time starts now. I hope you find out the correct answer. The correct answer is option B. So this will be it for today, guys. We learn about how to use one function to show and hide different content on button click, how to change the mouse cursor using a custom image. We will return to you with a fresh new theme in our next video. Till then, I am Aniket from Code to Enhance Learning, signing off for today. Hope to see you in our next lesson of web development video series for beginners. Thank you.